named Chicago police officers. Instead of protecting the streets, they're taking video at a graduation. And that's not all. Hundreds sit behind desks, wasting taxpayer money.
What are those sworn officers doing in your office?
What we found, only on 2.
Good evening. I'm Erica Sargent.
And I'm Rob Johnson. Tonight, we're taking a critical look at what many Chicago police officers are doing. CBS 2's Mai Martinez reported earlier this month they're not on the streets. They're behind desks.
Since that report, Mai's been investigating why, especially given the crime in the city. Mai joins us live from police department headquarters with what she found out. Mai.
Well, Rob and Erica, I found out that number is likely much higher than the 800 or so officers we reported on. As for why they're being kept in inside jobs here at headquarters and police districts throughout the city, well, it appears those in charge don't want to answer that question.
This week, CPD welcomed more than 200 new officers to the force. But after declining multiple requests for a one-on-one interview, Superintendent Eddie Johnson didn't seem to welcome my questions about how his department is using the officers it already has.
Is it fair to ask taxpayers to pay for new officers when we have hundreds of officers doing desk jobs that have been identified as possible civilian jobs?
Well, listen, we as you see, we're growing the department by 1,000, but we also have to support the field officers with administrative support officers.
But in 2013, the Inspector General's office analyzed 30 CPD units and found 310 of those administrative support positions were jobs civilians could do at a taxpayer savings of $6.4 to $16.6 million.
The difference between Chicago and other leading cities is so large that you cannot bridge it, you cannot spin it. Chicago hasn't done what it could do.
In fact, civilians only make up about 6% of CPD's workforce. Meantime, in Los Angeles, civilians account for about 22% of LAPD jobs. And in New York City, civilians make up close to 35% of the NYPD.
It's costing the taxpayers money because it costs more to train and to pay sworn personnel than it does civilians.
When the IG's 2013 report came out, Mayor Rahm Emanuel had this to say.
A police officer who's been trained to do police work is doing clerical administrative work behind a desk. Now, why would you ask the taxpayers for more when you're not using what you have today well?
But in 2016, that's exactly what the mayor did, announcing a 2-year hiring plan to add nearly 1,000 new officers to the force, all as the number of sworn officers in administrative positions grew. From 310 in the units analyzed by the IG in 2013 to at least 805 as of August 1st of this year.
Do you think this is a waste of taxpayer money?
It is. It's yes. If the department conducted a thorough analysis operations-wide, the number would be much higher.
Even at the graduation, it was easy to spot sworn officers in uniform and armed doing work civilians could, like taking pictures and recording video of the ceremony.
There should be a default. If you carry a gun, you should be out on the street, or you should be directly supporting or supervising those who are out on the street and not doing administrative functions.
Superintendent Johnson defends the use of sworn officers in some of those positions, but says they are reevaluating.
The positions that we can civilianize, we are going to.
And what is the timetable for that? I mean, this has been something brought to your attention by the Inspector General in 2013.
We're working on it, Maya. We are, but we have to work in conjunction with the city budget's office also. So we're getting there.
The mayor's office declined repeated requests for an interview or comment on this story. At one point, a spokesperson even questioned the accuracy of the data. I had to point out it's actually the city's data and available for public viewing on the Inspector General's website. Reporting live from Chicago Police Headquarters, Mai Martinez, CBS 2 News. Rob?
Mai, has anyone been able to explain why the percentage of the civilian workforce and the police department is so low?
No one has been able to explain that, and of course there is concern that you can't just move these officers onto the street without having people to fill those positions. But as the Inspector General has pointed out, many other large departments have found ways to bring civilians in, train them to do those jobs, and get those other officers back on the street fighting crime where there should be.
Okay, Mai Martinez at Chicago Police Headquarters. Thank you.